Yo, LS coach. What do you want to call you
Hey
LS by the way?
man,
Yeah.
just call me LS or Nick. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Hi Nick. How you doing?
I'm okay. So the
Have you
the
been?
offer
Wait,
for
hold up. Have you been watching what's been going on or what?
I watched the last two games and I watched a few games last
Okay,
night,
but you see the state of
but I
mind I'm
didn't.
in and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just talk about anything, and I'm all ears. And if I didn't already say, guys, this is LS coach. He's like coach like loads of League of Legends players in his time. He's been around for a long time, known as a famous coach. So that's who we're talking to. For the people that don't know. Yeah. Go ahead,
All
man.
right. All right. So from the games I watched of you, the issue is because I spoke to you a few months ago, right? And you were playing, and I think the problem is that professional players or players that gradually improve over time, they do one of two things. Either they're in constant communication with a social network with
Right.
peers, um, and that helps them experiment. Because what you're doing right now is you experiment by changing up your builds and your summoner spells and stuff sometimes, but it's not flexible enough. So basically, what you end up doing is insanity. You know, you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So until you change the main equation, which is either you change your solo queue setting or you change your social network in terms of like who are you actually talking to in order to get advice, because very seldom do professional players ever just grow out of nowhere. It's usually really rare. Even top amateurs that they rise up, like right now, there's some Diamond 3, Diamond 4 player. No one knows his name. He has no pro friends, etc. But in a year, he's probably going to be either in LCS, like as a rising talent, or he's going to be in the Challenger Series. Even though right now no one knows who he is,
What's
but
his
he's
name?
coming. No, just no one. Like
Okay.
it's just going to happen. You know, it's like that just happens over
Right.
time. You know what I mean? Like, who was Moon a year ago? One of NA's best junglers. Who was Dardoch a year ago? Moon, I think a year ago was just in low diamond, and now he's one of the best junglers in NA, or maybe like a year and a half ago. And then he made a gradual change from just playing casually, repeating the same stuff over and over, to watching tons of Korean pros and trying to emulate their play, and then working on other aspects of his gameplay. So I know that you have to stream and you play a lot and whatever. So the thing that I recommended was if you want to come to Korea to boot camp, you can find flights for like 600 euro round trip from the UK. And I know that that number is accurate because I've had multiple challenger and master players fly over from Europe, NA, whatever. Not always particularly just to be with me, but just to experience Korea and boot camp here and stuff. And I think a lot of your issues with TF, it's about like the minutia that surrounds TF, or minutia is like the really minor details that surrounds Twisted Fate. Like every matchup's a little bit different, and I know that you know that, right? And your mechanics on TF aren't necessarily bad, but the micro mechanics, the like super micro aspects, which they ultimately separate players, they separate the great from the good. They're off, and it's not necessarily your fault. It's also partially due to the environment that you're in, because the
Right.
EU mids that you're playing against, that they stagnate between Diamond 3 to low challenger, whatever. They can't put you in situations where you're going to grow, or they can't consistently enough unless you were in higher challenger, consistently playing against the top LCS like mid laners. And even then, not necessarily are they going to put you in the situations enough to make it so that it's going to be worthwhile so that you can grow. So my recommendation about the whole Korea trip, I don't need any money for it. It's whatever. I can coach you a few hours a day. You come out here, you boot camp for like 2 weeks. Can get you an ID or something. You rent a guest house or something. It has 100 up, 100 down internet. Whatever. You play on 7 ping, and then Korean mids and junglers, I think, are gonna open you up to a whole new world of fucking abuse and what is gonna be necessary for you to climb on Korea. Because Korea is no joke. There was, like 90 LCS Challenger Series players out here, and with the exception of a few, most of them plateaued at 100 LP Masters. A lot of them are only Diamond 3, and this is stuff that's not being made up. It's not a fucking opinion. It's a goddamn fact, and you can, go and look it up. And on top of that, without duo queue, there was an invent post that a lot of LCS players even had a negative win rate without their duo. And Korea. Korea is a lot more brutal. If you like versus that Lissandra, if you played the levels 1 through 3 versus a Korean list right there, you're fucked against a Diamond 3 or higher Korean Lissandra and a Diamond 3 or higher Korean Lee Sin. And Lee Sin's on Korea are going to be completely different from what you're used to playing with. You imagine like the mechanics of an LCS Lee Sin or the best Lee Sin in Europe, and that's almost your average Diamond 3 or higher Lee Sin on Korea. And then they're more ballsy. There's much more moxie inside of their plays, and they're more aggressive. And if they sense weakness, they're going to pounce on it. So I think that's also going to attack your tilt more. So you're going to have to learn to deal with that. And I think if you can learn to go toe-to-toe on 7 ping against Korean mid laners, that's going to open you up to a fucking world. You're going to go back to Europe and you're going to think it's like retarded. You're going to think that you're playing against, people with an extra chromosome, like let's just be honest for a second. Like, and I think it would be good. And I don't really care about money for it. All I would ask is that you accommodate like the taxis, but Korean taxis is ridiculous. You go like 4 kilometers and it's less than $3. It's like $2.50. And Korea's really good location. I mean, you can probably see stuff on YouTube. And yeah, so I mean that's a genuine offer. Other than that, I mean I can help you gradually by talking to you occasionally, but I don't think that's as intensive. And also I think your viewers and probably even Reddit would love, so you can think of it from a business aspect as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's as a triple, which is kind of cool. Yeah, that's all right. I'll take that into account. Could you write me like the details on Skype, like just what the area, where the area is, or a picture, or the details, or the address, or so I can look into it. Or whatever the area is. Just write it in text, like just a couple of minutes, and just write me like the offer on text, so I can read it over. All right.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that.
That sounds good. Dude, I'd do anything like to get better or get good because I've just been sitting duck. I feel like I've been sitting duck. And if not, I've got worse. I put all this time in, but I feel like I'm never improving. I think it's my mindset, and I think I just want, I don't know, if you're looking over my shoulder telling me I'm doing something wrong, then I think I've become a better player. I don't know. I just feel like, did you hear what I said yesterday after that game? I said I just like it. Like I know I can play well, and I know I can do, I've got potential. I just need you to tell me how to do it, and I'll do it. Simple as that. Like, okay, you got to play like this. Do that. That's how to play. Don't get ganked. Play this aggressive, and don't get hit by a skill. I want you to do that, because sometimes I just need someone to tell me how to do it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. That's no problem. I think that's pretty easy.
So, other than that offer, is there anything you want to tell me, just in general, my state of mind, or what any tip and advice that anyone watching, plus me, that could?
I think, well, one thing I think you gotta understand is, let's say even a random challenger on Twisted Fate, right? At the elo that you're playing at right now, right? So let's take an LCS TF player, right? They're still not gonna have they might only have like 75% win rate or something, if we're just being realistic, right? And so when you take that into account, you have to factor that you're only losing about 20% more of the time, which is a big number. But you got to understand that improving in League is sort of like going to the gym, right? Now you're mechanically okay, and you are, you're in the higher tiers of your region, right? Which is similar to a skinny person going to the gym, right? So if they start working out, it's hard to see immediate results. Whereas someone that would be really overweight and obese, if they go to the gym, they're going to see instant results. Right. Well, not instant, but it's much more difficult for you to see results. And so it's more frustrating for you when you factor in that it takes time to improve. Now, it's not that you're not improving, it's that others are improving as well.
I thought that's what I said yesterday. That was an idea I said yesterday. And that is true, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then also, right now, Diamond 3 is higher than what it was last season, because I think until the end of April, or early May, the MMRs don't balance out. There's still plenty of people that just aren't playing enough games yet. Right. So you're getting a ton of people in your games that they don't belong where they are right now. And you're also getting people in your games that are higher than, this MMR as well. So it's a little awkward. It's a little RNG in some ways.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes it feel a bit better. That's what I want to hear. Yeah,
but you can improve. It's not impossible.
So what's the plan then? What's with besides the offer? Just if I was to go solo queue, how do I come into these games? Tell me. What mindset do I come into these games?
How often have you watched other TFs?
I never watch any other TF.
Well, maybe you could, in all seriousness, maybe you could just do a stream where you watch Apto VODs of TF. Because I'm not even trying to say this to make like
No,
fucking
no,
attack
no,
you or
dude,
whatever.
no, it's okay.
But
I can take criticism like a
Apto
lot.
moves much. His movements are like elegance, like on TF. Like it looks like he's fucking just like ebb and flow on TF. The way that he positions and the range and his spacing between cards and stuff. Like last match against Lissandra, I felt like level 1 through 4 you played horribly, because she showed you that her range capability, and when I mean range, I mean the very 0.01% of Lissandras can do everything Liss has to offer, and then there's the top 70% of Lissandras obviously can't do that missing 30% that the pro Lissandras can. She showed that in her range she wasn't capable of lane control. You were saying that Lee Sin had to be there, but it was impossible, given how she was positioning herself inside of the lane and then using her spells. And then the angles of approach that she was taking on you levels 1 through 4, it indicated that Lee Sin couldn't be there, also relative to the game timer. On top of that, you kept CSing at a distance, even though she showed that her mana control was really poor and it was suboptimal. And so you should have been basically imploring her to keep shoving you into tower, because that way you could have basically gained the mana lead, but then also opened her up to a gank from Nidalee because she was showing her ignorance to warding, and then she would have been really weak on the left-hand side, which your Nidalee is, and then Lee Sin already showed that he wasn't on the left-hand side because of there was no match gank in top lane, so then it opens up Lissandra to a lot of pressure. So these are like little psychological aspects that I don't think you're doing. But again, This is about the minor detail to TF, and I think if you watch a lot, because you need to watch other TFs. And even if you do some stuff better than them, they're going to do stuff that might make you go, well, that's interesting, right? Apto consistently bulldozes the ladder with 80% win rate on the hardest servers, Ionia and Korea. He has to be doing something right. It's not just a fluke. And he streams, he gets ghosted, he gets snipes, he doesn't hide the fucking minimap, he implores the jungler to try to gank him, and then he fucks them up 1v2. He calls for counter ganks at right timings. It's fucking annoying to play against him. And so when you do stuff like that, it opens you up and it gives you added perspective, and you might get something, and that's something so minor could mean so much to you. It's sort of like you're doing a workout, if we use the gym analogy again, and then you realize that you're doing it wrong, and there was something else that you could add to it that would then work another muscle, or would work it more effectively, right? And so that's something that you have to do if you're genuinely serious about improving. You need to watch other TFs, even if don't watch other TFs. Let's be honest for a second. Don't watch Western TFs, because not only do no one play it enough, no one plays it enough.
Sorry, what TFs don't I watch? You said.
Don't watch Western TFs because no one plays them enough.
Watch
Faker, watch Apto.
Oh, you mean EU West TF? EU West.
Western, NA-EU. No one plays TF enough on the ladder.
Right.
So it would be bad because there's going to be small things that they don't know, but them as players know more than you about the map and about timing. Even if mechanically, or there's certain areas where you might know more. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm sure that there's things that you actually, like, contrary to what your fucking toxic chat, sometimes they're toxic, might believe. There's probably things that you do know about TF that even an LCS pro doesn't know about.
Right.
And I'm not doubting that. But they know so much more about the spacing, the movements, when to go in, when not to go in, etc. And that's pretty much it.
I see. Yeah, I'm watching like a Dopa. So Apto, Dopa's the same person, right?
Yeah, Apto and Dopa are the same person.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He's playing like so.
It would. Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm watching this video of him, like, and I don't know, he never like shoves just randomly. He always punishes him as soon. Oh, he plays really. I see what you mean.
It would just be good to watch multiple videos, and then really just actually watch, like, for not for entertainment but for educational purposes.
So my mistake is definitely to do with all the minuscule, because I feel exactly that. Like, I know so much about the game, like even when it comes to like split pushing and stuff, and even though the past couple of days I've been doing really bad, but normally I do really well with like the map. When the game's going, I feel like I do so well with the map. But it's just the minuscule details that definitely is my mistake. Like the smallest things.
The smallest things, and those are the hardest to train.
You wouldn't be talking to me right now unless you did believe that I've got. You believe I can like I'm good enough, right? Like
I
it
mean,
would
I'm
be
not. I don't. My reputation precedes me.
what does that mean?
I just mean like I say what I actually think.
Right.
I think if you actually do want to have some goal for high challenger though, you're not going to accomplish it in the US. I think it's impossible.
Right.
I think you need to be pushed. Yeah, that's my opinion.
My God.
What?
Just so much to think about.
He has a guide on Fizz with translation. It might be good to like I don't know watch on streamers. It has translations for what he's saying. Like he goes in depth on everything he says. But this guy is undisputedly the best TF player in the world. No offense. But yeah.
I like when you're being honest.
And then on top of that, if you want to be serious, I know that you have PAX TF and it's a pretty badass skin. If you're looking for any edge,
yeah,
that you can get,
high noon. Yep, we're talking about this. High noon every way, dude. I played against the Fizz, and he was just eating my wildcards. Why is that? Is it? I feel like the wildcards move a bit quicker.
No, it's their hitboxes are they appear smaller than what they are, so it's really toxic. It's like they think they won't get hit by the card, but they will.
Hey Ali, I think this song suits your situation. Can you play this when you start new game and make us hyped?
So,
yeah,
I'll take your all right, I'll think about this offer because it's a big deal flying out to, or Korea. Is it Korea? Korea.
It's a good
So I'll be
experience.
playing. Yeah, for sure. Would I be playing on Korean servers?
Of course, 7 ping.
So I'll have to get a level 30 account, or just transfer. Just transfer.
I can help with that. You can't transfer. You need a Korean social security number.
Oh blimey.
So it's not hard to get an ID though.
And would I still be able to stream or what? So
absolutely, yeah. Okay. They have 100 up, 100 down for internet. That's the worst internet in Korea. 100 up, 100 down.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything's 24/7, and you can get by with English, no problem. You can even set up an app so that everything can be delivered to where you're at, same day.
I'm with you. Okay, Nick. All right. For the time, all right. Let me. I have to think, but I can't just say yes straight away. But that's a great offer.
No, yeah.
I think a majority of my fans would want me to go as well. If I'm going to stream over there, they just think it'd be great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For the time being, let me just take what you said and put it in perspective. Okay, so going to solo queue over the next couple of days when I do stream and play, I need to just
one thing I noticed is you wildcard too much.
What do you mean?
In during laning phase, you wildcard too much. If you notice, Dopa, he doesn't wildcard randomly.
Right.
He wildcards to manipulate the minion wave, and then he just uses auto attacks and blue cards, red cards, etc. accordingly. And then on top of that is you don't have to feel bad about getting shoved in. In some matchups, you want to get shoved in, but you have to pay attention to what the opponent's doing. Like, that Lissandra was terrible, because she basically said, hey, I don't know how to do anything with the minion wave. And then she was shitting on you, like level 3, and then instead of locking the lane, she handed it back over to you, but then you wild-carded it back into her, and it just didn't make any sense. Because you let it go to the tower.
Right.
Sometimes, one thing you have to do in some matchups is attack their mana. Sometimes it's not about their HP, because if the matchup's unfavorable, but you can attack their mana pool, that's just as effective as attacking their HP, because it gets them out of the laning phase. And then if that means that you get 2 waves that they don't, you effectively got a kill over them.
Right, I'm with you. You're right, I am playing. You know what I've never been good at, Nick? I've never been good at controlling my... Like, I played the lane phase so bad.
It's hard.
I play like the worst. I have the worst laning phase in
your laning is really weak.
Dude, I won't lie, Nick. Like, I'll just say, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've never. It's very rare you see me get first blood on TF ever, or get a one-on-one kill ever. I'll be honest, ever. So, well, at least we know the mistake. So my laning phase, because dude, I feel like when I've got my items and the mid turret's gone, or my mid turret, their mid turret's gone. Either way, I feel like I play such good TF. Like I could just farm and I'm shoving now, going
Sometimes
top and
you
bottom.
do.
Yeah, right. So is it the lane phase? If I can always win lane phase, so how should I be playing? Okay. Let me just ask this in a nutshell, right? How would a perfect TF? What is a TF player? How would a perfect TF player play in the lane phase? What's a perfect situational game? How would that go? So would he just want to farm or what? Talk to me. How would you say? What would an ideal TF player want to play it about? Just tell me how it's meant. You tell me how I'm going to play it, and I'll play it. So you just go from level 1, every game, make that game ideal, go. You just tell me. Just go.
Well, that's the point. Like, every game's not the same. Every matchup's different. Right? TF has to play the lanes different. Okay. I think an ideal. I don't think there is such a thing as a perfect play, but I think an idealistic perfect play is going to be a Twisted Fate that all the opponents fear when he hits 6, because then he just starts causing chaos.
Right.
I think that a Twisted Fate that knows how to control his wave, when to shove it in, when to go for Destiny Gates, because your Destiny gating is suboptimal. Like, you get the kill, but it wasn't correct. Because even though you got the kill, not enough was gained off it. And so sometimes it's your decision making during the laning phase with your Destiny gate that also hinders you, and it actually sets you behind. But there are matchups that are TF favored, and you do have kill pressure. And you should be going for kill pressure, but you're not going to be doing that unless you are trying to work on your spacing and your minion control. And then on top of that, one thing that you also don't do is I don't think that you judge ranges enough. It's like in that game yesterday.
I don't do what? Sorry, Nick.
Range. Range is what someone's capable of. So, like, let's say that in a TF versus Z matchup, do you feel like you can get first blood?
Sometimes. Sounds
okay.
Weird, but okay, yeah. I don't know.
So,
sometimes I'm dominating him. Sometimes it goes the opposite way around. Like, it's how I feel.
Right. So, like, I mean, even in the VOD you're watching right now, like, Dope is bottom at, like, this early on, you know? But I think it's logical for him to be here. So, about range, what range is like, so let's say that you say sometimes, right? And then Apto says always.
Right.
So Zed knows that Apto's range on TF does contain that he believes and knows that he can always get first blood on Zed.
Right.
Whereas if that Zed's against you, your range doesn't contain it. Like, you're capable of trading, you're capable of waiting for a counter gank, you're capable of surviving a gank, etc. But your range doesn't contain proactive kills. Does that make sense?
I understand.
A lot of opponents that you play against, their range, it's all over the place. Like yesterday in that game that someone donated to you about, the enemy team basically showed they couldn't handle a split push, and then on top of that, the only chance, like the Caitlyn game, the Kate that saved you, Vega, Torrent, whatever.
Yes.
You were never going to win any neutral fight. You were never going to win any siege-based fight. And what I mean by that is, like, trying to get into Dragon, trying to get into Baron, trying to get into mid lane. You're never going to win fights like that. You were never going to win a fight where you were on the offensive. Your team was only going to win on the defensive, and that's range. You have to understand that at that point in the game, you're incapable of winning offensive fights or neutral fights. You're only capable of winning a defensive fight. And then on top of that, the enemies were not showing respect to a split push. So inside of their range was a lack of capability to responding to it. But then you did it too late. And then you should have taken a fight in top lane. But, like, let's be honest, that fucking Hecarim was he was something else. So, you know, and he flamed you. That's the irony. So that was, you know, whatever.
Okay.
But I think range judging is difficult, but you need to do it more. You need to realize, like, okay, I'm not going to play the same way every game. You have to read the opponents that you're playing against and then make decisions based on what they're doing.
So, okay. So you would agree if we can't ever, because sometimes I'm playing a game and I can just feel we're not strong enough. So at that point, do I just say to the team, okay, guys, we're not ever going to team fight. We're just going to play the pressure game. I'm just going to be split pushing. Yes or no?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Other times, just do it proactively. I mean, you don't want to talk to people that, because see, if you said all right, so you had Caitlyn, Hecarim, Nami, and who is your top laner? Your top laner, Morgana. So if you change every one of those players 10 times, maybe 7 of them listen to you and 3 of them don't. So it's probably better to just say it, but don't expect a response, and
Right.
instead just proactively do it.
Right.
And if they flame you, then who fucking gives a shit? I mean, they're in Diamond 2, Diamond... They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But you have to understand that you don't know what you're doing. You have to actually understand
Absolutely.
that. Now,
No,
you
I
know
got
what you're
you. No,
doing.
no, you're right.
in
I
some
would admit
sense.
it. Yeah. Even
Yeah.
like my lane phases, I've not a clue about. Like, I've never really sat there and focused on a lane phase. Like sometimes I
Yeah.
put a ward down, I hug the ward, but then like I get ganked from I don't know. You're right. My lane phase is totally off. I think I play such a good like map pressure game,
Yeah, sometimes you do.
but like
Sometimes you do.
My lane phase is just like I just hope with luck that I don't know I'm gonna CS fairly okay. All
Yeah.
right. But like I'm always afraid. Like when I'm playing lane phase, I'm always scared that the jungler's there. Why is that? Like, is that bad or good or what? Because like
How often do you look at the game timer?
Not so often. Every now and then, if I look at it, I'm like, oh,
Okay.
it's 7 minutes 15.
Let's
Oh, right.
let's say Lee Sin starts blue for some reason, okay? He's going to clear Gromp between 1 minute 57 seconds to 1 minute 59.5 seconds, depending on
Right.
how effective his leash was. Which means that he's going to start blue at around 2 minutes and 3 seconds. He'll clear that at around 2:15 if he's really good and he targets the big one first, but then he clears the small ones around 2:19, which means that he arrives at Wolves if he chooses to go to Wolves. I don't know how the EU routes really go. If he chooses to go to Wraiths, then he's going to arrive at Wraiths at around 2:30. And then he'll clear Wraiths, and he starts right around 2:39 to 2:43. That's if his route is Gromp Blue, Wraiths Red. If it's just Gromp Blue, Red, he clears it around.
Sorry. Can I stop you for a second, Nick? Can I?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. Sorry. I'm just.
No, it's okay. But
I'm
you need
just
to know
so I'm just so impressed with like how someone would know all that. But yeah, I'm still listening. Sorry, I'm listening still.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
So you have to know you only need to know the meta junglers. And once you know the meta junglers, you can basically guess the range. Like, okay, I don't know Amumu exactly, but I'm gonna guess that okay, Amumu is weaker at killing Gromp than Lee Sin, so he finishes it at like 3. But Amumu's stronger than Lee Sin at killing blue, so he finishes that slightly earlier. You know, stuff like that. And then once you just get a rough estimate, you know when you're pressured, both from a dual buff gank and a level 2 gank. And when you're safe from that, it probably makes you a lot safer in your laning phase. It's really easy to implement into your play. Just look at the game timer when it gets to like 2:30.
Because I always get level 2 ganks like all the time. They do their first
Okay.
buff, then they come straight
So,
to me. Like I'm not kidding. So
look at
okay.
how the enemy mid is playing until level 2. If the game timer hits 2:40 and nothing's happened, you're not getting level 2 ganked. If
Right.
you are getting level 2 ganked, you just play safe.
Okay.
You dodge the gank, and then you laugh at the fucking jungler because he's a goddamn monkey.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, well now you're behind my jungler and have fun in top lane.
Right.
Like,
right.
they're idiots. Okay? And if they do an idiotic gank, don't be mad at it. How far behind you fell in mid, assuming that you didn't blow a flash and get chunked in HP, they fell even further behind to your jungler. Now I understand that sometimes you get junglers like Hecarim, okay, I'm with you. But
Yeah.
for the most part, sometimes you're gonna get junglers that aren't Hecarim, okay? Like you're gonna get junglers that aren't completely idiotic. And if that's the case, then your jungler's really far ahead of that jungler. And that is huge pressure. And so you got to accept that sometimes you're going to fall behind, but they're going to fall behind in other areas too. So it's like a trade-off.
Gotcha.
All right?
Right. Thank you, man. So if you were to tell me one thing today, like to improve on, what would you want me to improve on? Would you say it's my lane phase?
Stop wildcarding as much as
Right.
you do.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I always
let
do
the
go
wave come
I've
to your
noticed
tower.
that. Okay. Also,
Yeah.
the perfect. I just want to play TF. I just want to farm, never die to a gank. This is my mindset. I never want to die. I never want to get ganked, and I just want to use my ult to pick people and then play the map game after even mid turret's gone. Yes.
Yeah. That's
Right. And if I do got a team where top lane is getting crushed and bot lane is getting crushed and jungle's getting crushed, just like after when it's really over, just go.
Let it
next.
all get crushed and outplay
Just
them in the
relax.
mid game.
Right.
Just move better. Ebb and
Right.
flow. Because they will make a mistake. They can't resist.
Right,
It is
right,
like
right.
in their DNA. They just can't help it.
Just don't get mad and just
Because
okay,
here,
I'll play this game.
let me say something. Players that plateau at this tier, they're more used to losing than they are winning, which means that when they are on the offensive, they're less practiced. They're less adept at it. So by nature, they should be weaker and they should be more prone to making mistakes because they're used to losing, not winning. So if you're ever really far behind, just stay calm, relax, and they will make mistakes. They can't help it. They literally just cannot resist. It's like a bull charging at something that has red on it. Like, they can't help it.
Absolutely right. Okay then, Nick, with this mindset, I'm gonna keep grinding it through, man. And
All right,
I'm gonna put out our
I'll
Facebook
message you everything on
status.
Skype about
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put out
thing.
our Facebook status to see what my viewer base think about it. I know it's up to me, but I just want to see what people think.
Yeah.
But okay, that's awesome. Right, thank you so much. And there's nothing else you want to tell me? That's everything. Just want to see a focus on the lane phasing. Okay, mate, I'll make you proud.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Because you're the only person that actually has a fucking clue that I can actually take your word and trust. And that's the truth, because I get a lot of people donating and stuff, but the other, honestly, there's LCS players, but they just play. They don't talk the talk, you know.
They play and they don't necessarily know the game, and then you have a bunch of coaches that are just friends with coaches, so they say that they're good, but they're not good, they're bad.
Right.
So
it doesn't matter anyway, because come the fucking Worlds, every NA EUS team lose anyway. Right, okay. Nick, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. I'll check what's on Skype. Well, thank you so much, man, for the time, Nick.
Okay, all right, man. Yep, good luck with everything. I'll keep watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Well, that was awesome, dude. Well, if you guys enjoyed Nick's